What's going on, guys? I've got here a 2001 Honda Accord, and I'm going to use this car to point out to you the location of a few important fuses for the air conditioning, as well as the AC relay. I'm also going to give you some good troubleshooting steps. So we're going to start this by pulling this cover open. There's a very important fuse behind it, a 7.5 amp fuse located at position 3. Power from this fuse is sent for the AC relay to engage. It also controls the cooling fans and the blower motor, so definitely a good one to check right there. Now let's reinstall the cover, and I'll move under the hood and I'll show you the AC relay as well as another fuse that provides power for the air conditioning. So we're going to open this cover by pushing in on the tab here and here while we lift up. The fuse that sends power to the AC compressor is going to be this 20 amp fuse. And without power from this fuse, the cooling fan will not work either, the condenser fan. Now the AC relay is going to be this relay right here. My favorite way to troubleshoot this is I'll have the engine running with the air conditioning turned on. Then I'll tap on that relay. Sometimes relays can get stuck, and by tapping the relay or wiggling the relay, you can get it to unstick. Further troubleshooting beyond that, we can remove that relay, set it aside, and you can swap in your horn relay. If your horn works, then you know the horn relay works. And so we can swap that in. And if after making the swap, the air conditioning turns on, then you know that the original relay is probably no good. Now let's take a closer look at this wiring. When this relay is engaged, when the relay turns on, what it does is it connects these two pins together. Doing this sends power to the AC compressor for it to engage. Now there are a number of reasons why the relay will not be turned on. The relay is computer controlled. Although you do have that button that you push to turn on the AC, it's the computer of the car that makes the ultimate decision as to whether or not the AC should be running. So something such as a misfire on one or more of the cylinders, that can cause the computer to disable the air conditioning. Also, if there's a leak of refrigerant, you can get a gauge to hook up to the port here. This is the low side port. You can check the pressure here. You can also add Freon to the system if it's low. The AC will not work if the system is too low on refrigerant. So like I said, connecting these two together will forcibly make the AC compressor engage, even if it's not a good idea. So I really only recommend this as a troubleshooting step. It is definitely not a permanent fix to connect those two pins together. You do that just to see if your AC compressor engages. And how do you know if your compressor is engaging? Well, good question. You can look down through here. This bottom pulley is for the AC compressor. And when the engine is running, the belt as well as the pulley here will be rotating. If the compressor is not engaged, this centerpiece will be stationary. If the compressor is engaged, then this centerpiece will be rotating along with the pulley. So if you look down in here and see that middle piece rotating and your AC is not cold, then it could be a problem with the compressor itself, or it's just not charged properly, or maybe the blend door, the temperature blend door motor could be bad. However, if you do not see this middle piece rotating, then you'll want to check the things that I went over in the video. One other real common thing that I've seen on these vehicles, this is the connection that goes from the AC relay to the AC compressor. And you can see how on this car, it's been kind of dangling and there's some damage to this wire. So yeah, this is a bad connection here. Really substandard. That should be soldered or crimped. So sometimes people will damage this connection when making repairs, or a belt can break and mess up the wiring here. So that's definitely something to inspect visually. You can also disconnect this and check to see if there's corrosion in the connector. Now this single wire comes from that AC relay that I pointed out. If you see power coming through on this wire, then you know that that relay is working. So if there's power here, but the compressor is not engaging, then you know that the compressor clutch itself is no good. So yeah, I hope that all this information was helpful and a good starting point in troubleshooting the air conditioning on your Honda Accord. Please let me know if you have any questions, or more importantly, any advice about troubleshooting this. Thanks for watching.